So, I wanted to make a video to speak to women that may have or that have gone through things similar to what I've experienced. I know that there are teenage girls, young adults, women even my age, small girls, that are on the internet and are searching for some sort of validation or advice, guidance, or message. And I just want to share my story with whoever's listening, whoever wants to listen, whoever needs advice, whoever needs a reminder that things do get better. And although it may seem hard during certain times, I just want to remind younger girls to not listen to people who want to project their self-limiting beliefs, their self-doubt onto you. To always trust yourself, trust your intuition. I think it's our parents' responsibility to reinforce those things, reinforce the things that we already know intuitively. But unfortunately for some of us, we don't come from homes or families that want to see us do better than them, whether it's consciously or subconsciously. If someone is telling you not to listen to yourself, they don't want better for you. They can say they want better for you, but actions speak louder than words. Okay. So the first things that I learned about myself was that I'm an artist, that I was blessed with the gift of sight, and that I was a sexual being. My first experience with realizing that I had the gift of sight, or I had a different perspective. Let me say that. I do have the gift of sight, but it was very obvious to me that I could see differently at a very young age because what happened? In my kindergarten class, my teacher had us draw our families, and we all stuck our illustrations on the wall, and I had the only paper with three-dimensional human beings on the paper. Everyone else drew stick figures, and that was the first moment where I thought to myself, okay, those illustrations look different from mine. The second time that I could feel I understood things from a different or I saw things from a different perspective, or I saw things clearly. I don't know if that's the right way to say it, but my kindergarten teacher drew a cube on the board. I'll draw it out for you the way she drew it for me. So my kindergarten teacher was showing us shapes, and she drew a cube. I vividly remember she drew it like this, and she held it up. She said, "This is what a cube looks like." And the first thought I had to myself was, well, not necessarily. Like, if the cube is glass or any type of transparent material, then yes, this is what it looks like. Most things in our world aren't transparent physically. Metaphorically, a lot of things are transparent to me. They're very clear to me. Physically, no. In the real world, most cubes look like this, and I could see that I could understand these things. I could never put it into words. And yeah, so that's the first part of discovering. That was the first instances of me discovering that my perspective was a little bit different than others. I first learned, which to me, the gift of drawing, early, or maybe in middle school, people would ask me to teach them how to draw, and I would always say, I can't teach you how to draw, and like, it's not about the straightest lines, it's about the message that the art is holding. Anything can be art. I knew that at a young age too. But yeah, so I figured out that I could put things on paper in a different manner than most people, because one day I just went in my mom's room and I saw this portrait she drew of a girl, and it looked more cartoon-like. Like, it wasn't hyper realistic, but it wasn't a stick figure. And I just saw it, and I looked at it, and I left out of her room. And then one day I went to my grandma's room. We all lived together at one point in my life. I went into my grandma's room, and I saw a drawing she had did as well. And again, it was very cartoon-like, but it wasn't a stick figure. So I just started drawing, and I'd like to say that my gift of drawing is genetic. My mother can draw, my grandma can draw. I think this is a gift that was passed down from them, and I'm really grateful that I was able to I'm really grateful that I was given this gift from them and by God. I discovered that I was a sexual being. At the time of my discovery, I didn't realize that's what I was discovering, because unfortunately, at my age, no one should be having sex. No one should be exposed to sex. But maybe I don't know how old I was. I could have been 2, I could have been 3. My vision Okay, this is not the point where I discovered I was a sexual being. This is the point where where I was exposed to sex. I could have been 2 or 3. I'm not sure how old I was. I don't think I was 4 yet, because this was one of my earliest. This is the earliest memory, I would say, that I retain today. Yeah, I just want to start by. I want to start off first by saying that I love my mom, and I forgive her, and my mother deserves peace. My mother deserves happiness. She deserves forgiveness. She deserves mercy, grace. But at that age, my mom was having sex with men in front of me. And one of the men that she had sex with in front of me, which was her boyfriend at the time, he started abusing me. And that wasn't my first time being abused. I was friends with someone, and their cousin abused me long before him for years. Um, yeah, so I discovered I was a sexual being at a very, very young age. And I carry a lot of shame, not because of what happened to me, but because when things occur in your life, or when you take action, you discover yourself through your actions. I feel like the men who abused me discovered through me, and whoever else, whatever other child they abused, they discovered that they were pedophiles. And instead of keeping their shame with them, my friend's cousin, he dumped all his shame into me. My mom's boyfriend dumped all his shame into me. My mom dumped all her shame into me. Everyone dumped all their shame into me. And as a toddler, as a child, as a baby, as a preteen, as a teenager, I didn't understand what it meant to truly let go. People wanted me to ignore myself because they don't want to be confronted. They don't want to be held accountable. They don't want to be held responsible for the things that they did to me. But I didn't truly let go of that shame. And I feel like after carrying it for so long, eventually I believed it's me who should be ashamed that a grown man was attracted to me. It was my fault. I am the one that seduced him. A 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13-year-old seduced you. I don't believe that today. I know it's not true, but I still carry a lot of shame. I can feel it in my body. I'm still working on letting it go. Yeah, but so those were the first 3 things that I knew about myself. Back to my gift of perspective. A part of my gift of perspective is seeing. I can see what's not seen. I can see what's not being said. I can read between the lines really well. I can feel what can't be felt. And I discovered this part of my gift through the traumatic the sex abuse that occurred in my life. Um, my mom's boyfriend. I would wake up in the middle of the night when my abuse first started happening. My sex abuse. Everyone was abusing me already, physically, emotionally, spiritually, mentally. But sexually, it began one night. I remember waking up, my pajamas at my ankles, and this kept happening for days. I kept waking up my pajamas on my ankle, and I knew for a fact that something was going on because I wasn't going to sleep with my pajamas on my ankle. I was pulling them up to my waist. And yeah, so one night I just decided that I was going to figure this shit out, because I just like, okay, either I'm sleepwalking or like what's going on, because at that time, even though my mom's boyfriend was pretty abusive towards me physically and abusive towards her, like emotionally, mentally, psychologically, like I still for some reason just did not assume that, even though I had already been experiencing sex abuse in someone else's home, I didn't assume that it was him or my mom. I definitely didn't think it was my mom doing that to me. But yeah, so I stayed up one night, and I seen my mom's boyfriend push my door open super, super slow, like eerily slowly. And yeah, he walked up. I pretended I was in my eyes when I was little. They was very like, they was super tight. Like people would tell me all the time, like, you need to open your eyes. I feel like my eyes wide open, but people say open your eyes. But yeah, he tiptoed and he grabbed my pajamas at my waist and like, and then he grabbed it and he tried to like slowly pull it down. And I sat up, and he was standing in my room. We're looking at each other dead in the eye. And he was like, "Oh, I didn't know you was up." And I didn't say nothing. I was like, I was terrified, because what the fuck are you doing in my room? And what are you doing to me? And I was terrified. So I knew what was going on. I started waking up to him feeling on me, on my butt and on my private areas. And when I would wake up, he would just act like he wasn't doing anything. He would just, "Oh, I didn't know he was up," and then walk out. And I was terrified. Like, I was just so disturbed. I was extremely disturbed. And that was the first instance that led me to discovering that I could see what I couldn't see. I was right about the fact that I was not the one pulling my pants down in my sleep. I was right about, I know I'm going to bed with my pants at my waist. Why am I waking up with my pants on my ankles? So this went on for a long time. I would try to stay up so that he couldn't come in, but I was being sleep deprived. Like, eventually your body go to bed, it's going to force you to go to sleep. So I was getting abused whether I liked it or not, which I didn't like it. But then my mom's boyfriend would tickle me and then assault me at the height of my laughter. And that was another that was another part of my abuse that was disturbing. I don't like when people tickle me anymore, and it's very hard for me to deal with it because people see you laugh. That's just the body's. I feel like that's just a natural human reaction to being tickled. You laugh, and so people think you're enjoying it, but I'm not enjoying it at all. I'm actually being tortured because I was tortured as a kid. Um, the other event that led to me discovering my gift of perspective, or seeing what I can't see, hearing what I can't hear, feeling what I can't, or not hearing what can't be heard to maybe the majority, seeing what can't be seen by the majority, feeling what can't be felt by the majority. Um, during the abuse I experienced, this is not mine to keep. My mom's boyfriend began blindfolding me and plugging my ears during the abuse. And so I felt him touching on me. I felt him doing things, I don't want to say, I don't want to be graphic, but yeah, I felt him doing these things. And that was another event, or this went on for a long time. That was another part of my abuse that led me to the discovery of my intuitive gifts, of my spiritual gifts. Like, I didn't see myself being abused. I was blindfolded the entire time, but I knew it was happening. I'm not stupid. Like, I know what's going on. And so now, because of it, I have an entirely, like, it made my gift of perspective so much stronger, but it was extremely traumatizing to go through that. I carried a lot of shame about myself. Growing up, I didn't get any sleep for real. I was tired. But yeah, I discovered those things through that. And to any young woman that's out there, I know there's so many young kids and young girls, young boys on the internet now. I told my mom 3 times that this man was abusing me, and she never took my word for it. Um, if someone doubts you, never, that's okay for them to doubt you. In my opinion, a parent should always have your back no matter what. They should believe you first. But in the case that it does happen, because it happened to me, I don't think I'm the only one that this is happening to. Um, it's not a reflection of you, and it's not for you to trust yourself less. It's happening for you to trust yourself more. Someone not believing you is just a test for you to listen to yourself more, especially when you know you're telling the truth. If you're lying, and I'm not just speaking on lying about sex abuse, if you're lying in general, you can't be mad people don't believe you. But the anger I felt when my mom wouldn't believe me was it was crushing. It was betrayal. Like, this man is already abusive towards you. What makes you think I'm invisible? What makes you think I'm immune to this? It's already abuse. It's already abuse for me to even witness the abuse. That's abusive itself. But yeah, so just trust yourself. Know that you deserve validation. You deserve to be seen. You deserve to have community. You deserve to be loved. You deserve to, like, have people in your life that's gonna have your back, And yeah, I just want to tell all of the young girls and boys, because boys go through sex abuse too, and it's brushed off because it's if you have sex as a young man, you get high five. That's not okay. Your dad is high fiving you. He's a accomplice. Is that the word? I don't know. He's helping you be abused. Um, but yeah, my abuse went on. I was pretty much abused, sexually abused, majority of my early years, as long as I can remember, up until consistently by the same people up until right before my 14th birthday. Um, and then I experienced abuse after that. Not consistently by the same man, but plenty of men took advantage of me, of my vulnerability, and I didn't know any better. I mean, I had been having sexual experiences since I was 2, 3, so I didn't know better, and I went on to be extremely promiscuous. Um, some partners were consensual, some of them were not. I had a lot of men who didn't respect my voice, didn't respect my resistance, didn't respect my body language. They didn't respect anything. They don't care. And those men assaulted me too. Um, I feel like I feel like I feel like I overcame this thing maybe like 3, or not 3, sorry, maybe around 20, maybe like 24, 25. Like I slowed down so much, even without realizing what I was in and what I was doing. I slowed down so much because um I don't know. I was never meant to be there, you know. Um, I was never meant to. I was never meant to end there, in promiscuity, in being a hoe, being a whore, whatever word people want to call me. I was never meant to. I was never meant to stay there. Um, I was just that was just part of me discovering myself, and I'm learning to work through that shame and the trauma. It's not easy, but it's not hard either. um, I realized I had a lot to unpack because I had an experience with someone where I was sexually triggered. They didn't really like tap in with me during, and like it was just very traumatic. And then I got an STD, and I like went off on them, and I didn't even like I blacked out, but uh yeah, I didn't approach them correctly. But I bottled the first event in. I'm not gonna say I bottled a lot in, but there are a few things. The being When you have someone, me personally, considering all the abuse that I've gone through, you have to communicate that to someone, especially as much as it may seem awkward. I didn't want to communicate that with him because I thought I was trauma dumping. I thought it would be I thought I would ruin. I just didn't want to put that on someone. But ultimately, it's my responsibility to communicate my sexual boundaries, and it's also my responsibility as a woman to vet people out more and see like what type of person they are sexually, because I shouldn't have been in the room with someone who feels me resisting and is not tapping in with me. Like, I should have never been in the room with that type of person. I don't find those things attractive. Some people do. And some couples can communicate that, like, hey, we have this understanding where, intuitively we know what we want. We know we attract each other. Like, you can come touch me. Unfortunately, I'm not that person. I need someone to ask me every time, can I touch you? Can I kiss you? I need that. That's what my body needs. Or else my body is going to go into shock because I have been abused so long. But I went and reread the message and my mouth completely dropped, because all the stuff that I was reading, I was like, this is nothing. This is not what I thought I was saying, and these are not even my thoughts. I could see based on the words. I was like, this is not me. I was like, this is not who I am. It was a bunch of stuff that my mother used to say to me as a kid. All the shame she used to dump into me, using God as a way to like put fear in me and threaten me and belittle me and like control me and stuff like that. Like, it was so awful. Like, I apologize to the person. I would love to apologize in person, but whatever. I called my therapist, and I called the therapist that I saw in high school, and immediately I said, I have a bunch of unresolved. Like, I thought I was okay. I mean, I knew I had, like, I never expected myself to be the happiest person in the world, considering what I have gone through. But I was like, no, there's something subconsciously going on that I'm not aware of, and I need help, and I can't do it alone. I can't access this part alone. So I called my therapist. I put myself back in therapy, and I've accepted myself. I've accepted my promiscuity. I've accepted the shame that I carry. I've accepted the darkest parts of me, which to me is not even my sex is not my shadow. If sex is, I was tricked into thinking it was my shadow. Sex is my light, and it's okay for me to enjoy sex, and enjoying sex is not me enjoying abuse. I don't enjoy abuse. I enjoy intimacy where both people are consenting, and I enjoy a sacred bond. That's what I enjoy. I don't like being blind. I don't have kinks. Like, I'm not into that type of shit. Like, I'm not. Like, I know that about myself. But yeah, now I'm at the point in my life where I'm embracing everything about myself, my gifts, my art. I'm leaning more into being an artist and trusting myself, trusting my vision, knowing that someone is going to see me. And all it takes is one person. When I think about every time my life took a turn, it took a turn for even the best or the worst. It was just one person. It wasn't 3,000 people. That's not what I'm looking for. If this video ends up being seen by that many people, I hope it's young women who need help, and who need reassurance, and who need to be told that it's gonna be okay, and that you are not your abuse. You are not a reflection of the people that abuse you, especially as a child. Anyone that's trying to trick you into thinking, they want you to doubt yourself because they can't sit with the fact that the people that abuse me can't sit with the fact that they're abusers. My mom, I'm not gonna call her. I give my mom a lot of grace. Like my mom did a number on me too, but like she didn't sexually abuse me. Like so, she didn't rape me. She didn't molest me. So cool, whatever. My mom, I give her a lot of grace. I love her so much, but the two main people that sexually abuse me, they're pedophiles. Y'all are pedophiles, and y'all cannot sit with the fact that y'all are pedophiles. Y'all don't like that about yourself, so y'all try to make me not like myself, and that didn't work. And what I've learned also through life is that there's no one that can steal my light, my gift. Whenever I have someone come into my life and their goal is to destroy me in some way, I revert right back to art, because it doesn't matter what happens to me, I can always draw. And when I draw, I heal myself. And when I heal myself, when I draw, I get paid for it. Every time I draw, every time I create something and put it out to the world, I get paid for it. I'm compensated for it, and I take that money and I go and take care of myself. I get my vitamins, I get my fruit, I get my food. Sometimes I get junk food too. I'm not 100% healthy. I mess up, I fall short sometimes, and I need me a little Jolly Rancher or a soda sometimes, but for the most part, I'm taken care of by myself and by God. God is the one who gave me this gift. My parents are the one, my mom and my grandma are the ones who gave me this gift. So that's who I'm taking care of. That's who takes care of me. Me, my mom, my grandma, and God. But yeah, I'm 30, and a lot of times I feel like I'm behind. I always feel like I'm behind. I'm like, man, I'm fucked up. I'm behind. Like, I'm 30. Like, I don't have this. I don't have that. But, like, I'm not there no more. I have to quickly remind myself, like, I'm in my own apartment right now. There was one point in my life where I never thought my abuse was going to end. I thought that was the only thing I was going to ever see. I could not see my life outside of that abuse. And I called my mom bawling tears. I can't believe I'm in my own apartment. Like, I have my own space to come and, like, be an artist. And I can think, like, I couldn't even think. I couldn't hear my own voice. I couldn't hear my own thoughts. Like, I'm sorry, I didn't know I was gonna cry. I couldn't hear my own voice. Just enough though. Just enough to get away. And that's all I needed at that moment, was just a little whisper of my own voice to believe in myself. So many people around me try to silence me since I can remember I was alive. Like, I've been attacked since I was a baby, and I don't know why, but I'm going to tell my story so that young girls and young boys who are going through these things know that they're not alone, and that there's a brighter end for y'all. I'm not sorry. I didn't mean to say I'm sorry. But there's a brighter end, and one day you'll have your own space. Like, people attack you when they feel bad about how much space you take up, I feel like. And it was no space for me there. Those people around me couldn't handle me, couldn't handle my light, couldn't handle who I was. And I didn't even know who I was. Like, but people, they say, you know, people see your light before you do. And, you know, so many people saw my light and they try to steal it, but you can't steal it. You didn't take my light. You just gave me access to darkness. That's what they gave me. The access and the ability to see darkness. I know what abusers look like. I know what pedophiles look like. I know I can sense so much. I'm so in tune. My sensitivity, I'm a super, super sensitive person, and I think it's due to the fact that I was blindfolded and had my ears plugged during the abuse that I experienced. I'm super sensitive now. I don't need to see I don't need to see to know that it's going on. I don't need to hear it to know to hear what's going on. I don't need to feel. I don't. It doesn't need to be there physically in front of me. I can see on the spiritual. I can see on the spiritual plane, and yeah, I have the discernment. My discernment is super super high, but what I did struggle with throughout life is doubting myself. Because I didn't have that validation from my mom. I didn't have that reassurance. Like, she told me I was pretty sometimes, like, but I couldn't be prettier than what she thought I was. It could only be under her control. Like, if I began feeling like I was pretty myself, then she snatched me out the mirror. She grabbed me by my collar, snatched me out. Life is not about being pretty. Like, actually, my life probably is just about not just about being pretty, but my life is about being beautiful. And I'm gonna be comfortable. I'm gonna relax. Some people don't want you to have a comfortable and relaxed life because they didn't have that. But my thing is, like, if you had poured into me, I'm gonna take care of my mom regardless, and my grandma and my dad. But like, had y'all poured into me, who knows where I would be right now? Like, had y'all poured into me, we could all be relaxed. They're gonna be relaxed regardless. Like, but still, you played a part in like breaking me down and holding me back. And it sucks, like, not having that validation, not having the first woman as a girl. I looked up to my mom, like, and I went off into the world. I was being abused by men, and then I was watching her have sex with men in front of me. I went out into the world with a double, whatever the fuck, acting out because I'm not receiving love, or because I'm being abused, and then doing what I see my mom doing because I want to be like mom so bad. Growing up, most girls want to be like our mother. And my mom is not inherently negative for having sex, but don't do it in front of me. Like, and it makes me sad because I feel like you didn't care about protecting my spirit. You didn't care about protecting my soul. You didn't care about. You made me so vulnerable. And like, I had a talk with one of my friends, and he was saying like, your mom's boyfriend, he abused her too. He broke her down, blah blah. And it's like, that is true. He did abuse her first. And so yes, I do give her grace, but I still, like, I don't know. I'm have my mom in me, but I know I'm not in my mom. She doesn't have the heart I have. She doesn't have the brain I have. She doesn't have the capacity I have. She's very limited, and as you know, a lot of people from our generation, a lot of our parents are limited in that way, where they just don't see beyond themselves. But it's like, to me, I don't know if I'll ever have kids. I don't feel like I have anything to give a child. I feel like, yeah, you got to be honest with yourself. A kid's life is precious, and if you don't have the capacity to raise a kid, then don't have a kid. Don't have a kid, but you can't do it. And it's not that I know I can find money. I don't have no problem finding bread, but my mom bought me everything I wanted. Bought me all the shoes I wanted, bought me all the games I wanted, all the Barbies, all the Easy Bake Ovens, all the bicycles I wanted, and none of that helped. Money is not going to be the thing that makes you a good parent. Putting food in your kid's stomach, putting the roof over their head. If I wasn't born, my mom would have had to get an apartment and fend for herself anyway. Regardless, what am I trying to say? Whether I had been born or not, that would have been something she did. So whenever she's thrown that in my face a few times, I had to tell her, like, that's the bare minimum. That's the bare minimum when it comes to raising a child. They need love. They need constant reassurance. They need constant reminders. They need someone to be patient with them. When my mom first started teaching me how to drive, she would yell at me. And I would be thinking, like, my dad wasn't in my life. I have been living with you this whole time. So when have you seen me drive a car? When have I ever driven a car? Why are you yelling at me like this is just something I'm supposed to know? But because I'm so gifted as a kid, everyone used to make this joke about me about, oh, Brigitte know how to do so much because she went to kindergarten. I was super gifted. I was super ahead of my fucking time. So when you just a kid, shit just come naturally to you. People just expect you to fucking know everything. I don't know why. It's so goofy. Like, if I knew everything, it wouldn't be no purpose for me to be on Earth. I wouldn't have no lessons to learn. I wouldn't have nothing to learn. It would be no reason for me to be here if I knew everything. And if I knew everything, I would be God. And I'm not God. I'm just a reflection of Him. I'm a fraction of Him. We're all fractions of Him. Why am I being yelled at? Because I don't understand brake gas. Like, I never done this before. But if I call my mom on something, then it's, I can't speak up and say, hey, the way you're teaching me is not okay. Like, it's, oh, you're being too sensitive, you're being this, you're being that. But if I call her out, she get to cry, she get to break down, she get to be the victim. Like, okay, and I am too sensitive. I'm too sensitive for her. She don't want to deal with my emotions. People don't want to deal with my emotions. And I am too sensitive to them. I'm not too sensitive in general. Nothing about me is too nothing. I'm just too much for other people to handle. And yeah, people use that against you, use your sensitivity against you. Oh, you cry, you're a crybaby. God made my body this way. How am I weak for having a functioning body? I'm actually pretty healthy, if you ask me. The people that hold their tears back, don't cry because they don't want to seem like a punk. I don't give a damn. I'll cry wherever. I'll cry in front of whoever. I don't care. This is how my body works. And crying is not a reflection of sadness. It's a reflection of release. Some people cry when they're happy. Some people cry when they're full of joy. Some people cry when they're angry. Some people cry when they're sad. It's not one dimensional. And I feel like that's my what I'm struggling with now is that realizing that there are so many people on Earth who are one dimensional. And it's not that doesn't mean that they're less than, it doesn't mean that they're less important, but like some people aren't on that plane with you. They're not on that plane with you, and you got to make the choice of whether or not you want to keep them in your life. And if you keep those people in your life, then you have to have the empathy and the capacity and the awareness and the patience to keep that person in your life, because they just won't understand. If you explain it to them, they might get it, but they won't pick it up the way that I pick it up. And sometimes it's frustrating because I listen to people talk like they so self-aware. I'm like, you don't even hear yourself. Like, you don't even hear what you're really saying. Like, I read in between the lines a lot when people speak. People use their words a lot to create illusions. I'm a master of seeing through illusions. I am. Unless a person is just, I hear people saying, like, sometimes I try to be like, okay, this person's human, let me give it a chance, but I'm done with that. You got 3 chances. I used to give people 3 business years. Now you got 3 business days to say some weird shit 3 times. That's making my intuition flag off. I catch it quick as fuck now. I don't doubt myself. I remember the first time I had my first experience with someone trying to confuse me with their words was the 3rd time that I told my mom. The 3rd time that I told my mom her boyfriend was abusing me, he left me this note that said, if you want to go to your friend's house, you got to leave me a massage. I mean, you gotta let me give you a massage. And I put the note in my drawer under all my clothes and stuff. I ran to my neighbor's house. I was crying hysterically. I was just all over the place. And when I went back to my house, my mom came home from work. Her friend came over. We went back to my house. The note was gone. And he was saying, that's not what the note said. It said to leave me a message. And I was like, you did not write message, because message is spelled with an E, massage is spelled with an A. Like, I'm not stupid. And if the note only said to leave you a message, why is it gone from my room? You went through my stuff. You went through all my stuff and found the note and got rid of it. Which, I don't know why my mom didn't pick that up, but whatever. Second time was when we finally went to court. And the judge kept his lawyer kept flipping my words around. And I was thinking, like, I was so confused. I was like, that's not what I said. I was like, you keep readjusting my sentences. He was trying to confuse me. And now I listen for that. I listened for that. And his lawyer walked up to me in the parking deck and said, I can't confuse you. You're too smart. But it wasn't the fact that I was smart. It was the fact that I wasn't fucking lying about being abused. The only thing that I got confused in regard to my abuse was the years. That was the only thing. The people came up to my the detective came up to my high school. They called my name on the intercom, Bridget Townsend, come to the front office. Had a talk with me and asked me to tell them my ages and the years. And I remember saying, when I was 10, in the 5th grade in 2006, something like that, the lady was like, no, in the 5th grade, when you were in the 5th grade, it was 2005. That was the only thing that I got fucked up. But that's how long I had been experiencing abuse. I lost track of time because it was just never ending. I'll stop counting. 2 nights turned to a week turned into a month turned into a year, years turned into 2 years turned into 3, 4 years turned into 5, 5 years turned into 6. Just nonstop abuse. I'm not counting no more. I can't count. I don't know the number of years I've been abused anymore. But I know I was abused, and I know I'm not fucking lying about that. But I'm sorry, I'm cussing. This is supposed to be for the kids that see this. Don't be like me. Don't be promiscuous. You don't need to do that. You don't need to cuss. I mean, you don't got to be perfect, but, try not to. It's not the only option. I'm not less intelligent, but I've heard people say, like, people who cuss, it's because they can't find the words. And that's true sometimes. Sometimes I do cuss because I can't find the words and I'm in my emotions. But y'all are smart enough. Y'all are intelligent enough to find the words and to find yourselves outside of promiscuity. You don't got to run around having sex with a bunch of men, and you don't hang out with boys alone. I used to think like boys and girls should be able to hang out together, and that's true, they should, but unfortunately there are people out here who are not teaching their boys, and they're aggressive and they're abusive, and it's not safe. As a young girl, you got to learn how to be responsible, and you got to learn how to protect yourself. It's just the truth. Anytime you are abused or assaulted, it's not your fault. Anytime you're in a position where that happens to you, it's not your fault. But, moving forward, tell yourself, like, okay, I can't. You just can't. You can't. You can't. You cannot be naive. You cannot be. There's somebody waiting for you to be naive. Unfortunately, this sounds so dark, and I hate. If it was up to me, pedophiles wouldn't be here. They would all be in jail. They would. Yeah. Listen. If it was up to me, it would be a different world. None of these people would exist, but they do. And I want to teach young girls how to protect themselves. Don't listen to no older man. A man that's, if you in high school, maybe me and my ex-boyfriend, we dated his first year in college, and I was still in high school. Okay, that's not a big deal. A boy that's about to graduate from college, he's 22. He should not be pulling up to the high school. He's 21, 22. He shouldn't be pulling up to come see you. You should be dating someone your age. And then maybe when you're a full-grown adult in your 30s, then yes, maybe you can date a 34-year-old, 35-year-old, 36-year-old. But as a girl, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, y'all should not be seeing grown men. They want to take advantage of your inexperience. The fact that you haven't been on earth long enough to know. And it's not your fault. It's not your fault. I didn't have my mom teaching me this. My mom didn't teach me fucking shit. I swear to God, she thinks she taught me so much. I'm like, you didn't teach me shit. Like, you think you can, somebody can say all day, don't do this, do that, but if I see your actions, you telling me, well, I don't even recall my mom ever telling me don't let a man treat you a certain type of way. But even if I did, you letting men treat you a certain type of way in front of me. So what do you think that's teaching me? To accept abuse, that abuse is love, and you're never walking away from them until 10 years later. Thank God I don't stay that long. They used to get 3 years out of me. Now, like I said, 3 business days. You're not getting 3 years. But yeah. If anybody has questions or anything, maybe you guys can message me. I put my social media links in there. In my bio. You can look me up and figure out how to send me a message. I can give you advice. I can give you reassurance, validation. I can help you seek. I can help you find answers if you need help. If you need help finding a way out of your abuse, I don't know. I can help you. Maybe I can. I don't know. I just want to help young girls. Like, I used to be very against the idea of like streaming and like putting myself on the internet in such a vulnerable and open way, but I can't hold back my truth anymore because I realize there are so many young kids who need my help, young adults, teenage girls. I know you guys, I feel like the world is taking away things for you guys, and I don't like it. So, if I had a daughter, I would want other people to like be on her side and help guide her. You got to drop your kid off at school 5 days a week. You better hope it's somebody there that cares enough to take care of them while you at work, doing what you got to do so you can pay the bills. Like, I know people like to say like, oh, it's not my kid, it's not my responsibility, but hey, I don't feel that way. I do think it's my responsibility, and yeah, I'm happy where I am. I'm happy with who I am. There's some parts of me that is, again, like I said, still ashamed, still embarrassed to like look back and be like, wow, you were so lost and just no guidance, nothing, no one there. I was so alone, but my therapist is helping me. She said, the same grace that you give everyone else, you give other kids, you need to learn how to offer it to yourself. The same empathy you need to give to yourself. So that's what I'm doing. And yeah, I hope you guys can learn from my mistakes and my trials and tribulations. Bye.